Aloha, it's Creativenametostandout again with another battle report. These first few pictures will be of my new Cold One chariot. I have a second one. You may have noticed in my last battle report it was just the chariot body itself. This time I added the riders and the cold ones. I decided to be a little bit more creative with the cold ones and gave them some red scales. I think it turned out pretty good, so I like it. I did have a mistake here. When I was clipping off the reins, I broke the reins in half, and then when I tried to clip the rest of them, they broke into even smaller pieces. I have no idea how to fix this, so if you have any ideas, I'm open to them because I don't know what to do right now. I have one driver with only half a rein, so I don't know what to do. But anyways, I got a 2,500 point game. It was against Lizardmen, and we rolled up Blood and Glory. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so let's look at my opponent's deployment first. Here we have his Ripperdactyls, his Ancient Stag, and his Salamander making up his left flank. The first block that you see there are his Temple Guard. I believe there's 14 it looks like, behind which is the Slann. Next to the Slann is Tetto'eko and his entourage of 10 skirmishing skinks. That first unit has already vanguarded because of Tetto'eko. There's a couple more later. It is 15 Saurus Warriors with a Scarvet, then 15 more warriors with the BSB, the skink cohort, another 15 warriors with no special character, but next to it is the Old Blood on a cold one. Alright, so we go into Dark Elf deployment. I'll also speak about what I'm planning to do here as I go through it. First are my Executioners and my Chariot here on the right flank. It also has my Master with the Stubborn Crown. They're matched up against the Old Blood and that one Saurus Warrior block, and then the cohorts are there to support him. So I feel really good about the right flank. The Executioners are pretty good at killing characters with Killing Blow, and with the Chariot in support I feel like I can run the right down pretty fast. So I'm not worried. So my center is also there with the Witches, and then another Chariot to deter any skirmishers from getting in there and trying to redirect my Witches. My Spearmen are matched up against the cohort, or the Saurus Warrior group that has moved up because of Tetto'eko, and I feel pretty good about that. Like 1 for 1, the Saurus Warriors are better than the Dark Elves, but I vastly outnumber him, and I have a Chariot there for support, and I'm not too worried about dangerous terrain checks. I mean, at 1 in 6 chance I'll blow myself up, but if not, I have valuable support. And then on my far left flank I have my 2 fast cav units, the Warlocks, so not painted yet, and the Dark Riders, and I'm aiming really just to kill the Ripperdactyls, the Salamander, and then start moving around the back, and maybe just muck up the Stechedon's movement with the Dark Riders. Alright, so we go into Vanguards, and you already saw earlier that the Saurus Warriors had moved up to the fence, and that's because of Tetto'eko's special rules. I moved my Dark Riders and Warlocks up the left flank. That is a token on my Warlocks from the Ripperdactyls. And over here, finally, he moves his Ancient Stag to the very left flank. So that is Vanguard. So we go into Dark Elf turn 1. I declare a charge with my Dark Elves, my Dread Spears, and my Chariot at the Saurus Warriors behind the wall he holds. He thinks that the wall will be sufficient enough defense to protect him. I feel as long as I don't slam my Chariot into the wall, I'll be able to tip the kill count in my favor and win this pretty handedly. So I do, and I don't roll a 1, so I'm good there. And then I move these guys back because the blowpipes are very intimidating. They could easily wipe a unit out, so I need to be wary of it. And then I move the Cauldron up to support the Spearmen, just to, you know, solidify my advantage on this side of this first battle. Here is my right flank moving up, deter counter charges. And then we go to combat, and my chariot does a lot of impact hits, and I do a couple wounds from the spearman. He's on double ones. He breaks. I pursue with the chariot, but I don't catch, and I keep my spearman behind the wall because it's a great defensive position for them. Here's overall right flank, left flank, and we go into Lizardmen turn 1. Lizardman turn 1 starts off with a block of Saurus Warriors and the Temple Guard sandwiching my chariot. He doesn't charge the Temple Warriors into the Dread Spears because he's outnumbered, so he's not going to be steadfast. Or, I don't know, yeah, he's not going to be steadfast. I know I got my asthma off on him, so he may even need 6s in this combat when you add in the wall, and then I also have the cauldron backing the spearman up. So it's a bad fight for him to charge this turn, so he's just going to take the easy kill and reform. The Ripperdactyls charge my warlocks, so he's just experimenting to see if this works out for him. These Saurus Warriors rally, so I will have to kill him. Or I don't have to, I took the banner already. And then the Salamander rolls a 2, I think hits 4 guys and kills 1. And I pass my panic. The Stegodon continues to move forward, or starts to move forward. And then he moves the cohort here because he's going to bank on my frenzy failing and hopefully pull my witches away from the center, because otherwise I might collapse his center next turn. So he's just banking on this. It's a long shot, but we'll see how it works out. We go into combat, and yeah, this dies. And because the skinks are nearby to lend their leadership, he does not have to pursue. He does roll 6s, but because I think there's like a rule about skinks helping them restrain from that behavior, he's able to restrain, he reforms, and he has a pretty good battle line. And then over here, yeah, the Ripperdactyls had no chance. I killed 2 of the Ripperdactyls. The other one I think may have killed 1. I can't tell. They're gray. I need to paint them. These guys are just so... these warlocks are just so... so powerful. I mean, they should probably be a little bit more points than they are, but yeah, I'm gonna use them. They're just, as seeing my battle reports and seeing other people's, they're ridiculous. So, oh well, I like them. All right, so we go into Dark Elf turn 2, and if you look at the board, it seems like I'm in a great position. If everything goes my way, I can even win the game this turn. I can declare a charge of my executioners at the far right Saurus Warrior block and get that banner. And then I can declare a charge of my witches at the center unit with a BSB and get 2 banners. So I could possibly win. I have to pass a frenzy check first. So of course I'm leadership 9 with a reroll. I fail, and I have to charge the cohort, who happen to be in Necrotic Ooze, and I lose quite a few witches to dangerous terrain checks. Here I have no incentive to charge the Temple Guard, so I stay put in my defensive position. And when I found out the witches were subject to frenzy, I also declared a charge of the cauldron at the unit that I was originally going to charge, and I make it. So that's pretty good. I could still break them. Here I harass the Ancient Stag, and then my Doomfire Warlocks get behind the Salamander. I take a picture of the board after all movement, and I Doombolt away the Salamander. We go into combat. I kill 7 with impact hits. He doesn't declare a challenge, which I thought was a mistake, but it ends up in the end being okay. He does a wound to both the chariot and the witch, and he sticks. Here I break the cohort, don't kill them all, and then I overrun into the flank of the Saurus Warriors. So if I would have made the executioner charge, it would have been another fight, and I would have got those points, which would have been awesome. Here we are in Lizardmen 2, and as you can see, look how a game of fantasy can just turn on a dime for or against you. In my case, against me. I looked like I was going to win turn 2, but nope. And here my opponent is with a chance to come back. He declares a charge with his Old Blood character into my executioners. Then this guy came out of nowhere. He was in the back unit of Saurus Warriors, and he charged the flank of my Cauldron of Blood. And he was in my flank. He was in the center of that Saurus Warrior unit, and he could charge out. He only had to make 1 turn to get there, and now he's in my flank. He has a Sword of Anti-Hero, so he has a pretty good chance of hurting me. This guy is mage hunting, so he ignores my Dark Riders. These guys rally, so I have to, they're going to be annoying. And then the Saurus Warriors try to block off my Warlocks from getting to his Slann, which right now he's doing a pretty good job. Alright, so we go over here. He beats my witches pretty well, but I stick. But then this was probably a mistake. We go to the combat, and he probably shouldn't have charged with his Old Blood. I know he was probably thinking that the impact hits and then getting into a challenge with my master would produce enough combat res to possibly win it for him, but more likely make it so he didn't lose by so much and that he would then stick with cold-blooded. But in the end, I denied the challenge, and then he got a bunch of killing blows thrown at him, and I rolled 2 6s and I killed him. So if this was a mistake, then I know he won't repeat it again. But maybe he could have also just been like, well, the game's not going too well. But either way, probably won't repeat that mistake again. And then here, he beat my cauldron. He didn't kill it, and then he tried to catch it, but you can't see the character. The character's 1 inch behind him, and then the other unit failed to catch it, but they also failed to overrun into my sorceress. So I got lucky there too. But yeah, this was pretty pivotal. Alright, so we go into Dark Elf turn 3, and I'm in a position where I have a chance to win, and if I take it, then I'll win this turn. But if I fail to grab that opportunity, then I'm definitely going to lose for a couple reasons. I'm about to have an Ancient Stegodon hunt down my sorceress because I can't get away from him, and he's going to be in my backfield. That's going to cause me a lot of problems. My opponent's last magic phase was very successful. He got Fiery Convocation off on my Spearman, which cut him in half, so now the Temple Guard are ready to take him on. And then he Soul Quenched my Doomfire Warlocks, which leaves him with 1. So I start off my turn with the Executioners charging the Saurus Warriors. That's a banner I know I can get. I then charge the Chariot into the flank of the BSB unit, and with the help of magic, I feel like I could possibly win this one. And then I call this a suicide charge because it's just 1 Warlock into the flank of the Slann, and it's only a suicide charge because he has the Egg of Quagno, and that could kill me before I even get to strike. Here my Cauldron rallies, and then I go to march my Sorceress, and she fails. So I'm definitely not going to get away. So if I don't do anything this turn, I'm definitely going to lose. The Dark Riders move to hopefully get lucky and shoot this guy dead. Then we go to my magic phase, and this is after the second Fiery Convocation. I was really in a dilemma here. This is before I realized I had to win this turn, and so I wasn't sure if I wanted to leave Fiery Convocation on them or not. In the end, I do, because I realize I have to win this turn, so if they lose a lot of guys, then so be it. I go for the Withering, and he stops it. I go for Enfeebling Foe, and he stops it. And bear in mind, I think it was 6-4, so 10-6 in Power Dice. And then I think I channel 1. And after those 2 stops, I get off my Asthma on 1 dice, and then I also get Occam's Mindrazor, and I put it on the Chariot. So let's go into those combats. Now I'm pretty sure I'm going to win that Saurus Executioner battle, so I don't start with it. I go to the ones that I'm not too sure about. I start with the BSB unit, and as you can see here, I do win this. I kill 3 of the Saurus Warriors with impact hits, and then we go to my Knights who have Occam's Mindrazor on them, and he doesn't bring his BSB over because of Occam's, and I kill his other 2 warriors. So his BSB, he gets 2 chances at rolling double 1s, and he fails, breaks, and of course dies because he's the BSB. So even with Miasma and Occam's Mindrazor off in that last combat, I felt like things went a little too well for me. I got a little too lucky, so I'm not too anxious about getting into combat with the one combat I thought I was going to win, the Executioners and the Saurus Warriors. I feel like things are going to go downhill if I go there first. A little superstitious, I know. So I go over here with the Slann first, because if I lose the Warlock, who cares? He does the egg, does 2 wounds, but I make both ward saves. Luck's still going well. And I do 2 wounds to him, so with a flank and a charge, I think he needs a 5, and he fails, and I run him down. So there you go, 2 more points. And with the death of Slann, that brought my opponent down to 2 fortitude, so there was no reason to resolve this combat, and the Dark Elves won. This was a very tight game. I love Blood and Glory. I feel like every time it's a very tight, so love this mission. Things I would have done differently, mainly considering the Dark Riders this time, I didn't really use them efficiently. I could have used them in the middle. I could use them on the right. You could have used them there to redirect units. Could have tried to possibly charge units that could have fled from some of my charges if my opponent would have chosen to. But instead I had them on the left flank, and they weren't even doing well on the left flank. I was running around trying to plink off shots at a Stegodon. I should have at the very least put myself right in front of the Stegodon, either to force him to waste a turn to shoot and not get any movement out of it, or to charge them and hopefully I didn't get caught, and I would be redirecting that Steg towards further to the left. So yeah, I'm going to try to use all my units more efficiently going forward, so that's something I learned. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and thanks for watching. See you later.